Hi,
We are
how are
live.
you?
Hello, how's it going?
Doing good. And you?
Yeah, can't believe it's already been a month since the last streaming.
Right?
Time flies.
Totally, yeah, especially with the conference season starting and everybody traveling more. And that's my cat, I'm sorry.
No, don't worry.
I was about to say, that's so cute, pal.
Yeah, it's cute until he puts his paw on the mute button and I don't hear what's going on. So I need one hand to kind of keep him away from that. So anyway, but we have a really cool topic today and we have some guests. So first of all, hi and welcome. Thanks everybody for joining or for watching this later if you're joining later. And yeah, do you want to maybe introduce our topic? Any of you? Oh my God. Sorry.
Maybe he volunteered. Oh, it's gonna be cuter. Sorry to take away your kind of request, but I think I would do that. So we have two guests here related to our topic today. So if you have seen our meetup page, today is about the ambassador programs. So at Storyblok, we have a very cool program to, I would say, nominate cool users who are being really actively using Storyblok, but not just focusing on the Storyblok itself, doing very cool projects or any cool dev community related activities. So in a way that we want to celebrate what they're doing it, and also want to pay attention to what they're achieving, their goals, things like that. And with us today, I already want to introduce who we have here. And drum rolls, get ready for that. There you go. Hey, Marcus.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for the invitation. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And we are so happy to have you here because, we were thinking who to invite. And I need to admit that we asked you in quite last minute, but thank you so much for accepting. Yeah. Oh.
Sure, can't miss this.
Yeah. And together with Marcus, we also have another cool guest with us. So another drum roll. Yay!
Here we have it.
Hey, how's it going?
Thanks for joining.
Welcome to the stream.
Thank you. I love that I went from being a fan on the chat to actually meet you here.
Yeah. Today you're on the streaming side.
Yeah, I really love that. Whenever we see somebody commenting, you can be sure it's Alvaro and he's hyping us up. And so we're really happy. It seems there's any message in the chat today because all of them were from you.
Yeah, exactly. No, we need Alvaro in the chat.
No, but thanks for having me. Looking forward for today.
Yeah. I would say maybe the best way to introduce you two as cool folks, maybe we want to ask you to introduce yourself. Who wants to start?
Since you are new to the Storyblok team, Alvaro, let's go first.
Okay, cool. I can take it. So hi everyone, my name is Alvaro Sabu. I'm now a dev role in the solutions team. It's a Storyblok, but I was an ambassador, so I guess that's why they invite me today. But really happy to be here. Just quickly, front-end developer for a long time. Right now I'm author of a 3D library called for Vue called 3CS, and I love creating content. And I had two cats, which are named after a famous witcher, and the other one as a dessert, a Japanese dessert.
Really cool.
So I don't know where to point here.
I guess
no order.
It's this side. No, wrong side.
No idea. Yeah.
Hi everyone. My name is Marcus. Since the beginning of this year, I'm a Storyblok ambassador. I'm basically a software engineer, mainly focused on front-end development currently, and loving to contribute to open source or mainly the Storyblok ecosystem. And that's probably why I decided or tried to become an ambassador of Storyblok. And yeah, I'm from the Austrian Alps, and I can recommend to go skiing here. It's pretty nice.
That's something for
Yeah,
me.
that's all
I'm so
about me.
obsessed.
You're obsessed with skiing?
Yeah, I'm going like this year almost every weekend. I mean,
Oh, really?
more precisely, snowboard. I do both, but I love doing
Good.
snowboarding. You too, right? I know.
I'm more the type of a skiing person, but sadly I've only went 2 times this year. But it was fun though.
Well, sadly,
So-
I never went, so you are lucky.
Yeah, I was gonna say I always see Arisa's pictures and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so jealous. It looks so cool, but I know I would just like be rolling through the snow. 'Cause
Exactly.
I would have no idea what to do. So.
To be completely
it's so
fair, that's what we
fun.
do, actually.
Oh right. Okay.
We just only post the best part, best shots.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, not in your case, Arisa, because we saw the tweet history thread with you almost dying doing snowboard and all the pictures in the whole process of dying. It was amazing.
Once I almost kind of died, like in a heavy terrain. But I managed.
But
you made
it, she made it.
Yeah.
Well, we can all be lucky that we're here today, knock on wood, if you believe in that kind of thing. Oh wow.
Yeah. But I don't want to occupy this streaming today about that. So
Let's talk about happier
yeah,
things.
let's talk about the happier things. That's adventurous stuff.
For sure. I mean, I guess ambassadorship can also be adventurous, but yeah, let's
Not in the same way.
let's focus on the calm side of things. So
Yeah.
imagine, what if somebody doesn't know at all what an ambassador program even means for anywhere really, not Storyblok related, just anywhere. What does it mean? Why would I want to join one? Can somebody enlighten me?
Another
For
drum
free
roll.
stuff, for
I
free
think
cool stuff,
I'm sorry.
for free cool stuff, swag, like nice t-shirt.
Right.
It's all about the swag, right?
And stickers. Remember
That's a
the
good
stickers?
start.
Oh yes.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah.
For swag, yeah, I started a whole collection in my office. I have a whole wall with stickers and shirts and coffee cups, all from different. Yes, coffee cups. I guess I have 3 or 4 Storyblok coffee cups currently.
Yeah, each time I join an ambassador program, they give me swag. That's true.
So you're ambassador of a lot of
Yeah. No, actually, the first time I heard the term ambassador in Spanish, it means something political, that you are actually, well, it also means in other countries, but the idea is that I never heard that specific term for something in tech. And when they asked me to be an ambassador, it's like, I need to do legal stuff, sign contracts or something. Didn't get it. It was like, what? And then they told me, no, you need to advocate about this technology. And it was like, okay, why we are not advocates and not ambassadors? It's like, yeah, it's really a tricky name for a program, I would say.
No, but it's basically that, like, talking about like my experience as an ambassador in Storyblok, for me, it was more like a career support. It was a 2 sides win-win, right? Because I was creating content on of a Storyblok, and then I got like all the support from the company itself. So I was creating content, and then in my career plan, like things that I wanted to do, experiment, I got the support of Storyblok.
I totally agree with you. Even I'm self-employed, and to be a Storyblok ambassador, it helps me getting clients to trust me when using Storyblocks, because many clients haven't heard yet from Storyblok, and it gives you some kind of trust for them. That's totally worth it. So if you're self-employed and need a lot of trust or something like that, or you own your own small software company like we do, it's totally worth it, and give it a try.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It kind of is like a stamp of approval, right? Like that person knows what they're doing. Yeah. Because I remember the first time I came across ambassadors was actually reading Alba's articles back when she was an ambassador. And I thought like, wow, she must know everything because she's an ambassador, right? And it sounds like so, yeah, like a diplomat, like very, very advanced. Yeah, so I thought it was really cool. That's so nice. Thanks for sharing. Are you, oh, sorry, go ahead, Marcus.
I mean, because you mentioned articles from Alba, I read almost every article from you, and the ambassador program got me really into writing articles myself. I tried to somehow know what to do and how to contribute to the Storyblok ecosystem, to the community, and it gave me the chance to showcase some nerd stuff to other developers using Storyblok. And so I guess a new hobby of mine is to write some technical articles with a little bit fun spice in it. It's like a cool Saturday afternoon hobby, I guess.
That's really cool.
I really thought like you were enjoying writing, the guest articles of ours. I just recently read one of your articles about like how to use the management API and play a little bit around with the CLI. I really liked, like a little touch to make things are going to be fun. And instead of, just using the plain boring, let's say fake JSON data, you were using something related with cats. So I was like, oh,
I mean, I have a few Easter eggs in my recent article. The one is, as you mentioned, with the cat. The cat is called. His name is Jimmy. It's my actually my cat. And if you paste the image URL into the browser, you can see my cat in a bathtub. So.
Okay, this I haven't yet reached out. I need to see that.
Try it out. It's kind of funny, but you shouldn't touch my cat when it's in the bathtub because then he's kind of aggressive. I don't know why, but every time he's in it, he's aggressive. So an old man.
I think we should reclaim cats as the official mascot, because it's amazing how the whole like in the ambassadors and now since I started blog, we all love cats. Like also Jacob has tutorials, like Jacob Androwski. Tutorials with cats as well.
I guess everyone in the stream currently has a cat at home. Am I right?
Not me, because I'm allergic.
I'm allergic.
I love cats.
Isn't there pills against that though?
Yes, but being on pills the whole day is not my plan. But I have unicorns. I have unicorns with me. Substitute cats by unicorns.
I have the same. That's for Cloudinary, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And we're back on swag, right?
Yeah. Always is about swag.
Yeah.
And actually, we have a question in the chat that I think is related to this, because Agatha asked about, are the articles mandatory for the ambassador program? And I will say no. Usually, there are some people that likes doing videos or maybe contributing to open source projects. And we have a lot of SDKs that you can contribute to. So it's not a mandatory thing. But of course, if you start writing articles, we have a guest programs that pays you for the article you write. And I think that's a really valuable thing, because in the other ambassador programs I have been into, they never pay you for the stuff you do. It's more like a recognition, like Marcus explained before. So you have the recognition that you are an expert on something, but they didn't give you money actually about that. So I think, we're doing a better thing there, because it's nice to have a little bit of extra income because you are great in articles, So I think it's a really nice thing in our ambassador program.
Yeah, I totally agree because actually I wasn't writing articles with Storyblok. I was more creating videos and contributed to open source. So you can collaborate in the part that you like the most, so you feel more comfortable with.
For sure.
And I'm guessing it kind of also depends on what's your strength, right? If you like public speaking, or if you like creating video content, or if you're more on social media or streaming or writing, you don't have to do it all. You can kind of pick, like with everything in life, you kind of pick your niche, right? And you can get some support. Am I correct on that?
Definitely.
Yeah. So we've heard about your reasons for joining the swag and career opportunities. Alvaro, you were first an ambassador and now you're on the other side. How did that happen?
I mean, it was a magical thing, to be honest. Now serious, like I started to be like ambassador, and then I remember having some talks also with Alba and Alex regarding content creation. I was with my YouTube channel creating content with the Storyblok, and then a part of being an ambassador also I got like a sponsor. So I was same as with the articles. Okay, I was being paid by creating content. So that was pretty cool. And from now, the relationship was really great. I matched with the whole group in Amsterdam. I remember like last year, the first year, I met everyone there. I met Josefine, I met Manuel, Alba. I don't know if you already joined there. I think you weren't in the story.
No, I was an ambassador.
You were an ambassador, but we saw each other there. So I don't know, like it was really like family. And then when I quit my previous job, to be honest, I talked with someone, talked with Alice, like, yeah, I would like to change role to dev role. Because I saw like all the amazing things that you were doing with the SDKs, and like I like the product already. So it was an easy transition, to be honest, from ambassador to actually work here. And that's something that I like, that the whole community around, the whole like look and feel, no, but like, how do you say it in English? Ambiente, like the mood, the values and so on, made me really easy to decide. It was magical.
Magical.
So true. No, but yeah, ambient. I'm thinking because ambient is really invented, like translated literally.
That's super bad translated.
I don't well, but I understand you. The idea is that Storyblok actually is a family. It seems like the problem that the startup have, the vibe of family, but I think this is a real family because we can disagree with each other, but we always have something in common that we end up doing together. So I think we are a real family that have problems and we solve them by talking and expressing ourselves more than hiding it and make the look and feel of a family, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's not that way. Yeah, I think Storyblok is really good at that. And the community in general, the ecosystem is really strong. And we are building a nice product and we feel it while we are using it. That's really cool that the employees actually use the product for personal things or for other stuff inside the job, not only for creating the product, but also for our website or personal stuff. So it's really cool. Yeah.
And I can totally say that once you're inside, is actually everything you see from outside, like everything, all the cool stuff is the same. Like it is what it is. It's not faking anything. It's like totally what you see.
Yeah, environment. Agatha is helping us in the chat.
Yeah,
when we think about environment, it's so technical. I think in environment variables, and it's like, don't get that. Developers. And she's asking another question. What advice do we have for newbies that want to start writing articles? Maybe you can go ahead. I don't know where I'm
Are you pointing to us?
No, you're the expert.
I think so.
You already have experience.
what advice do I have? I mean, personally, I've never written articles. I've never been good at writing articles. Neither been I good at writing texts back in school. But somehow, as soon as I got deeper into the ecosystem, as soon as I started implementing more complex features, I got to know everything and wanted to share the code or the experience I found out to the community. And basically, that's not a real advice. But if you start writing, it's kind of relieving your mind because you've written everything down. I don't know if you know what I mean now.
And I can
but
relate.
it's like helping others regarding developer guidelines or developer articles.
And you know something that a lot of people ask me in content in general, not only writing, like if you need to be an expert, because a lot of people don't write articles or don't do content because they feel they need to be really experts on something. We are not experts. I totally tell you we're not experts. So the best advice is to actually write about something that you want to learn. Let's say you want to learn how to use Storyblok with Svelte. Right? You want to implement something that you always wanted to implement. Write it down, your journey. And nowadays, for example, for me that I'm not a native speaker in English, I'm using ChatGPT and AI for helping me writing better, like improving my vocabulary. So nowadays there are tools that even if you don't have the initial push, you can start writing articles and see how it goes.
And if you're missing out of ideas, sorry, Josefine, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, if you're missing out of ideas for articles to write, my personal preference regarding Storyblok articles is chatting in the Discord. You come across many users who have some problems, who encounter kind of the same problems each week, and then you start thinking, okay, cool. How can I communicate this to the people that what they are doing is correct, but there's one piece missing. That's what I found out with the recent article of mine with the CLI best practices. Many users had the problem to migrate content between spaces, had problems migrating different languages, and I kept myself repeating the answers in the Discord, and then I thought, okay, cool, let's write an article about it. It's that simple.
Yeah, I think when it comes to writing the article, the one of the hardest hurdles that you need to go through is like choosing the topic, because you feel like if it's your first time, you feel like, oh God, do I need to be really good at it? Otherwise, maybe people will point me out like, hey, you're writing something wrong. But when you think about it, actually, there are lots of people, writing about like their learning journey. So it's not always correct, but maybe at that point, at that time was the correct content. As we all know, like the front-end knowledges, technologies move really, really fast. So maybe on the next day, the things you were writing about would be like not new anymore. But it's also useful for people who are maintaining, their, apps or whatever the projects that they're working on with this, version that you were writing the content about. And it's really, really true. I also had quite often, like many times that I was saved or there were people like telling me like, hey, this was really helpful because I couldn't find the source of the version I was looking for. So you don't have to be like super like talented or like super expert about it, but just, like you can write it already like as a purpose to help the other your like dev fellows out there, to solve the issues you encountered or you were learning it. As part of, let's say, like practicing, you also can find, like many other, I would say, like free kind of opportunities or like kind of organizations working with the nonprofit purposes, offering similar kind of the programs as well. So it's not just like one place you can practice. And the additional source I posted was like more of like a guideline how to write like an easy and clear article for like technical writers. But as you can see, Free Code Camp, they also offer some of the opportunities as well. And even if you don't, apply these kind of, let's say, getting the approval process, etc., you can keep practicing, like by writing at the dev.do or like Hashnode, anything like this, because these platforms already have like great, I would say, fundamentals to be recognized, and also the others will be able to give you the feedback, comments. So that's the good place to start.
Yeah, totally. I think it's very similar to speaking at conferences or at meetups, right? You kind of have to find something that you're passionate about. And then the more you investigate, the more you learn and the better you get at it with the feedback. And usually people are not out to get you and to prove that you don't know anything. Usually they're super supportive and they want to help you reach the next step or learn more or get better or whatever. And so I know it's super scary, but taking the first step is just going to do that. It's going to let you take the first step and then it's going to just get better from there. I just shared a link in the chat. Can I really quickly share my screen and show this? Because I think it's
do
cool.
it. That would be nice.
Yeah.
So it's called Answer the Public. And you can I put in headless CMS, for example, in here. And now it gives me all the questions that people are looking for. And if I were to look for content that I want to create now, it could be something like, I don't know, is headless CMS the future? This might be very small. I'm sorry about that. Let me make it a bit bigger. Or is it worth it, or when to use it? What does it mean? And so you get all these questions that people have. How does it work? I mean, there's a lot of repetition in here, but it might bring up some things that can help you create content, be that for a talk, be that for a project, or if you want to create a tutorial or something. So I just really quickly wanted to show that.
Really cool. Really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's really
Me neither.
Nice.
Josephine, were you saving it for another year? Or?
I have more magic up my sleeves. I'm just waiting to pass it out. So you keep hanging out with me. That's my secret.
Now it's shared. Like I already bookmarked it.
Yeah, me too. It's like I will use it every day. It's like, what the well.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, wait, there's more. It's like bringing candy, and be like, oh yeah, there's more where that came from.
I like that.
One thing that when I start writing articles in my blog, I did it not because of the community. And of course, it was my plan to share with others. But the first plan was to share with me what I did in a project that maybe in the future I will not use anymore. Because I was working in an agency. So maybe someday I'm creating a Spotify application and the other day an e-commerce platform. So everything was so different. And I was afraid of losing the knowledge I made this project, and I can actually have that code with my own sign because it was an agency code. So I decided to create articles on how to do it, like step by step, like really simple articles on how to do a specific thing, like import properly the SVGs or small things that I do in a project and never use it again, so I don't forget about it. And usually if I need to actually go and do the same, I go to my article and do it back like I did it. So it's really fun because I forget about that. And for that, I have the article. So yeah, I think it's also a really nice practice, like to create an article of every Jira task that you are doing that you think is really different from the others that you are working on daily.
I'm happy to know I'm not the only one Googling something. facing, again, my article I wrote on this only source.
It's like, I did this? Oh.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh man, past me was so smart, right? And then you wrote it
down, The worst is, have you ever been on Stack Overflow searching for an answer, and then you find the answer again and you see you've already upvoted that answer? It's like,
totally.
I had it a few times already.
Oh yeah, I have a few things with Git where I'm like every single time I will Google it and the link is already purple and I know I have clicked it a million times, but I just don't have the brain capacity to like keep it in front of my memory, even though I need it like frequently-ish. Oh man, so humbling. Yeah.
It's totally fine. Like when I used to teach in the boot camps, I used to tell, the really, really new, students that it's totally fine to Google something. It's not cheating.
Yeah.
It's one of the skills, but don't just write it down on your CV. That's not the official skill, but it is a skill.
Like I'm a professional Googler.
Yeah, that's the official
It should
term.
be a job
No.
title, professional Googler.
Now it's gonna be the official ChatGPT GitHub Copilot prompter.
I'm a ChatGPT assistant.
That's going to be the future of all of us. Yeah.
Hi, Anna.
Oh, yeah. Hey there.
Hey, Anna.
Oh, before we forget, I want to pick up this one more interesting question. Do you need to have I think it's big numbers of the followers to become an ambassador? So basically, do you need to be famous to be an ambassador?
No, I don't have a community. I guess I have 50 Twitter followers. No, you definitely don't need a large community. I mean, it's great to have one, probably, but you can work on it. So do I, or I try to at least.
Yeah, it's true. You don't need a big community behind. But one thing, like one of the perks of being an ambassador is you're part of the community of Storyblok, and that you want to know it will help you have a bigger following rate. Like you are gonna get more followers because you share content and you are part of that community. And if people like the value of your content, they're going to share it. So, but no, for getting started, it's not like a checklist. So, yeah, you have 1 million followers. not like that.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, you can use it to grow your platform, but you absolutely don't have to. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but you could even stay sort of anonymous if you're more like you want to give back to the community, you want to create some form of content, maybe something written, some tutorials or something, or share GitHub repos or whatever. You don't have to be public. You don't have to film anything. You don't have to put your real photo. It can be anything. So it can have that benefit if that's something that you want, but you don't. It's not an obligation. Just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, actually, like maybe it's not directly related to the ambassadorship, but I also had the same question before I was about to become a DevRel. It was a bit kind of common question, I think. If you're going to publish something in public and also engaging with the community, but I also would say like the numbers of the followers, it doesn't matter, honestly. I mean, like, it doesn't mean that just because you have the big numbers of the followers or the community, like you don't know if every one of them are like really, really paying attention to what you like post or, watching like your every single content. It doesn't mean that, but instead it's better to have like close, but having like more close like communication to exchange the opinions and also giving feedback each other if it's possible, instead of just caring about the numbers. That's what I feel, because gaining the numbers, you can do that. You can post something like people would love to see, like anything cats related, stuff like this, but that's not the point. So yeah.
I mean, you can get famous by saying like HTML is a programming language, but like creating valuable content is another thing. Like you feel that a lot in Twitter in general. Like most of the posts are clickbaits and so on. So think of it like if you really want to contribute, do something that you like, of course, but also that is valuable, and you are going to be surprised how much people are going to be interested in.
Yeah, that's something really good, I would say, like take away for today. Like do something good for yourself as well and for the communities. Basically, like I believe that in the really root of, like ambassador program or publishing anything in the public, speaking in the public, do something community engagement as a developer is because like we all want to help each other, or like you want to help, like by yourself as you're learning something new. And by doing that, you also will be able to help the others maybe. And that's true. So I think this helping, like voluntary way of, it's hard to describe, but this kind of, let's say, feeling you have and also taking in an action is everything about, I would say, sorry, I messed up in the end, but I hope you all get what I mean.
No, totally. That's a really good point. You have to, or it's good to have the right intentions, right? Like, and that's going to help, and it's going to show in the long run as well. If somebody's just in it for the clickbaity Twitter threads, you're a developer. No.
Yeah, I remember when I joined Twitter, there was threads of people tagging people. It's like, I recommend you these accounts that has less than 1,000 followers, and they start tagging people to follow. And it was like, why they have followers? Just for recommending people. That's their main task, It was like, don't get it. Like, I will focus on my article and forget about the community because this is not my stuff. And then when you start writing articles, you are getting a network that I think, like Arisa, like it's better to have actually followers that are not followers at all. They are colleagues or maybe people that you met in other place. For example, I have a lot of connections with people I met in real events, in meetups, or things that I was attending, not a speaker at all. I was attending, so I met some people, and that people joined my community because we were colleagues actually, and we made friends, So yeah, I think in that kind of way, it's easier to get engagement and to get people to read your stuff because they know you. And they know that you are a person, approachable person that they can ask anything about it and maybe give feedback, real feedback, and not, oh, this is cool. No, maybe change this because this could be better that way. I like that kind of feedback.
Oh, I love that message.
What is our backstage guy?
Reading.
Maybe he can add the thingy. No? Yeah, because I can select any comment. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just trying the same thing. I don't think we have enough rights. We need Kevin.
Okay, Kevin, please.
Kevin is our backstage guy helping us today.
And we're nothing without him, so. Okay, he's on it.
Okay, Agatha.
I just remembered a question before we bring Agatha's comment on. I was just wondering, how much time do you spend? Because I think some of you are even ambassadors or were ambassadors for multiple different companies, right? And I was just wondering, is there a minimum requirement of what you have to contribute, and how much time do you spend on this?
You want to go first, Marcus?
Boah, that's a good question. I don't track the time for that. I don't know. This week, it's Tuesday. I guess I've already put in 3 to 4 hours since yesterday, something like that. But that's only because I've contributed to the Storyblok ecosystem on GitHub in the last 2 days. There are weeks I'm not putting any effort into it, and there are even weeks I put a few more hours into that kind of ambassador stuff. But it's a hobby like going to the gym or something. You do it because it's funny to do that, and it doesn't matter how much time you spend. The outcome is the relevant thing here.
Yeah, totally the same for me. Like, there is not a minimum as well, like you are creating value for it. But you're not requested like fill in any like timesheet or something. But also consider that creating content takes time. It's something that I get questions at, like how do you manage to balance work life and content creation. I can relate with Marcus, like I do it because it's a hobby for me, and then you eventually manage to get paid for it, which is amazing. But it's still like it's something that you need to be passionate about. And, could be 3 hours per week to, I don't know, 10 hours per week or one. Like it depends on you.
Maybe
I think
a short story of my life. I started programming as a hobby when I was 11, 12 years old. And then I made this hobby to work. I'm getting paid to program. And then the hobby became not a hobby anymore. And since I've been an ambassador or writing as a hobby, contributing to the community, it's getting back to be a hobby for me. So there's something like, I don't know, it's there's something magic about about it. Hope that answers the question somehow.
Yeah, I feel kind of like, I don't know, something similar feeling when you mentioned about like doing as a hobby, doing as a work. I don't know if it's appropriate here, but I found a funny meme on Twitter one day saying like the developer who is writing the hobby code looks so happy and so much fun. But on the other hand, opposite side is like developer, you know, like writing the code for work is so stressed out.
So true.
So at some point, like you need to have, you know, like a fun place where you can, you know, like explore like the things you were interested in for a long time to, you know, like get hands-on, things like that outside of the work. And so that you will have like, you know, like good energy still goes into the work side. That's what I thought. Doesn't mean that I feel that, you know, in this way at work.
I mean,
Let's pretend
we believe
none
you.
of it.
Just as an example, I saw on the other day. Funny example.
Nah, but yeah, I can relate with that. Like, but we are lucky enough to actually work on something that was our hobby before. So not a lot of people can say that, and I always feel like I'm doing what I love. You know.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. And actually, I think that's our benefit as an ambassador program, that we usually just sponsor what we think you are loving to do. We don't say you do this, you know, it's like more your stuff, do your stuff, and we will just help you on the way. But in other programs it's different, I will say, but because for example in Google Developer Experts or other stuff, you need to make something monthly. And if you don't get something monthly in 3 or 6 months, they will actually make you not stay in the program. So you can get obsessed with that. Yeah, that's the thing. You are doing actually things, Josefine, so you didn't realize. But if you stop doing it, or at least reporting it, someday you will not get the badge anymore.
Okay, bye. I have to go report things.
It's
But
because we have too many things to report.
You
right?
can enter in a loop. You can enter in a loop of, I need to do something this week or this month because I didn't do it. And then you start saying yes to a lot of things, and you end up having a lot of things to do in 1 month because you didn't realize that you already had something. And I end up having a prize because I was doing too much things. So they give me this prize over here. Actually, I can make it. You can see it's a community prize because of creating a lot of content. And it was like what I did. I just wanted to be on time, to report that thing, and I end up with a prize because I was doing more than anyone. And it's like, oh my God,
Oh, that's so funny.
I need to stop. This is the reminder. You can stop. It's okay.
We're other way around.
No, but I don't know. Like when the Storyblok, it has always been chill. Even myself, that I also have the sponsorship in the channel, we agree more like contract, how many content and those kind of marketing things, like creating segments and the videos and so on. But if I don't manage 1 month because anything, it's okay. Like we already appreciate that you are contributing, you are creating content. So as ambassador, you choose your own rhythm, and if you need support, we are here.
Very cool.
Yeah, definitely. I think we importance more quality than the quantity, because quantity, yes, you can do that, but is it really worth for the others? Is it really like helping the others? That's gonna be like another question. So I would say, like, as long as you're being helpful, then the quantity doesn't matter much, in my opinion. Although there's some of the programs like GDE requires you to fill out something what you achieved, but it's not that really like tons of thousands of amount you need to do in every month. Yeah. And depending on the content you are going to create or the content you contribute, the time you need to take would be different too. So if you're implementing something really major release that has quite a lot of complications into your, I don't know, like open source, then of course every month would be like really hard, I would say, depending on that. And also depending on the time you have. Maybe you're working two different, like jobs at the same time. If so, then it's going to be difficult compared to the one just working with one project, in my opinion. So yeah, that's also going to be a little bit difference. I see the nice comment from Agatha. I mean, like, it's been posted long time ago, but Kevin, maybe now is the time. Yes, it worked. I can use the magic. No, it's all from the Kevin's help. Thank you. Yeah, it's really nice to see that. So she says, I come from a different background. I'm going to do a career change. And then the thing that I'm really surprised is how nice and helpful people in the community are. I also felt the same, really the same, when I, like just joined into the tech community, because I also came from totally different background. I don't have any computer science, degree. I was just, a random cabin attendant. Had no clue about like what I was studying for, but I really wanted to change. And the place where I got the most help was the community. So regardless of, like the amount of the return those people would get, they all were so helpful. Like I never met someone, pointing me out like, hey, you're doing wrong, something like this, or your content is so like low quality or too beginner or something like this. I mean, we all have every different kind of the levels. So, I mean, if the contents are for beginner, of course, the beginner developers would really appreciate about that content. And so that's for the senior level of the content. So, yeah, I'm really happy that, like many people are feeling in the same way.
Totally agree with that. When I published the first Next module, I asked Jacob to review my code, and he just suggested me some changes I can make to improve some developer experience and make things much cleaner. And he did that just out of fun, and it was done in a few hours, I guess. And I just nicely asked him, and that's all about the community and all about the people. They are pretty nice. And back in Amsterdam, I guess Amsterdam was last month, if I remember correctly. This was my first conference ever attending. And to every guy or woman you spoke to, they were pretty open-minded, helpful. You came with a cool, nice chat with everyone. And it's a cool community. You don't have that in other sections of the world. Well, yeah, I can say that. Yeah.
Related to that, I have one quick question. So, Marcus, you mentioned about attending the in-person conferences, right? Did you have by any chance got the opportunities to go to the in-person conferences through the ambassador program? Because I'm not part of this, let's say, building the program itself. So just out of the curiosity, and I maybe thought the others might be interested in to know.
Yeah, regarding the JS World Conference in Amsterdam, I got the ticket from Storyblok. I guess, who asked me? It was Alex. Yeah, Alex had a few tickets left, and he asked me if some of the ambassadors want to join the conference. And I was surprised because it's not cheap. And yeah, I accepted, bought my plane tickets, booked the hotel. And a few days later, I've been in Amsterdam meeting Alba, and a few other nice people. So yes, Storyblok made it possible.
Nice.
And you deserve it.
Totally.
Yeah, being able to be in the community, would make you have another level of the experience compared to what you can, reach out in online. Because I think I started everything from online. When I shifted into, in-person conference, phase, I mean, my whole world of, the tech world suddenly changed. So I was really whoa, if I was maybe able to, get this opportunity when I just started to, join in a tech community, I think I really would have appreciated. I mean, it wasn't possible because I mean, there was a pandemic and I was abroad. So that was quite hard for me to do that at the time. But yeah, I think more of this kind of, opportunities, I wish to, share, as many as people who want to, use these opportunities in the good ways.
Yeah, and what I think is interesting that you just mentioned was that as a beginner, you would have loved to know about this, right? So maybe you could talk a little bit about what about beginners? Can beginners become ambassadors? What does it take? That would be probably really interesting for folks in the call.
Who are you asking? Are you asking me? Or?
I'm just asking you. Anybody can answer. I'm just putting it out there. But yeah, you can go ahead and answer.
How do you define a beginner? What do you mean with beginner?
That's very philosophical. So imagine, Arisa, you also did a boot camp, right? So
yeah.
For example, I also did a boot camp, and I had no idea. I had no idea about anything before my first job. And then imagine somebody does a boot camp and they're starting on their first job and they're looking for a community and they want to dive deeper. Is that a good time to become an ambassador for something, or does it make more sense to be more specialized? These are just meant as conversation starters. This is not a test, right? Anybody can answer.
It's actually a really good question. I never thought about it. I guess from my perspective, it helped me out. Depends on the kind of project that you're doing. So if the company you're ambassador with, let's get the example about the Storyblok, right? So you probably are working with some content. So you're creating websites or you're doing something with content creation, right? In that case, it will give you a lot of experience to be an ambassador, especially if you approach it in a way that I'm going to create content that follow me in my journey. As I'm learning, I'm creating content and showing the community how it's like to be from really just be beginner to specialize a little bit more. I guess it will Yeah, it will differ of the level of seniority that you have, like the benefits that you can get out of it. But for me, it will be beneficial even if you're like really beginner or really specialist. That's my
Yeah,
take on it.
actually, I agree with Alvaro, because I'm thinking that usually when you're a beginner, you need mentorship, isn't it? And if you are working with a technology like Next, for example, when I started being an ambassador, actually, I was new at that because I only created my website with Next, nothing in professional way, nothing in my work. It was only a personal project. So when I joined as an ambassador, they give me actually access to the core team member, and I can actually ask people about my questions and resolve them. And I get an expert on the way. So I was working hand in hand in my project with them, but not in a work basis, just in personal projects. So yeah, I think as a beginner of a technology, maybe not as a beginner in general, because as a beginner in general, I would join communities like Woman Tech Makers or GirlCode, for example, or any communities that actually help you to get connections and mentors that help you along your way, more than an ambassador program that I think is more content related, isn't it? More content creation related. And maybe for starters, I will prefer to have a network than actually join an ambassador program. But if you are beginning with a technology, I think it's a really nice addition to join as an ambassador. So you can have access to things that maybe normal people, not normal people, but people that are not ambassadors, maybe they don't have access to. Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I guess, I mean, what you can always do, you can always contribute to a community. You can always report bugs. You can improve the documentation. You can get involved in the community. But being an ambassador is a bit more public, sounds wrong, but you're somebody that people are likely to then approach if they also have a question or have feedback. And if you're like very new, I mean, that depends on the person, but for me, it would make me like super uncomfortable to be asked things about something that I don't know about, right? Like, it's also not the end of the world, but it depends on what you want, I guess. So yeah. And for GirlCode, for example, I mean, that's kind of the elephant in the room because we're on the GirlCode chat, and we haven't actually talked about the fact that Arisa and I are ambassadors for them, and there are no technical requirements or anything. It's more about, are you like invested in the cause, and you don't have to prove that. You can just join and support, in this case, other women and girls to get into tech, to fight for equal pay. And so it really depends on the community.
Yeah, and also like I wanted to pick up one of the comments we got. Agatha says like it's actually really good to have different levels of the mentors, especially the ones that has like the fresh memory from the beginner time, so that they can understand, you know, like how the I would say like developer, like, you know, like newbies, you know, like like feeling when they're studying. Because if you forget about this feeling, it's gonna be so hard. Imagine that you're practicing something, you know, like your hobby, anything, football, baseball, like dancing, whatever stuffs you do for long in your life. And imagine that one of your friends ask you that, hey, I just started to be interested, can you teach me? And this person has totally zero experience, and you already forgot how you started to, you know, like
true.
kick the ball, or, you know, like start to do the I don't know, build the muscles necessary for dancing or stuff like this, because it happened to me too, you know. So it was really like difficult. So it's important to have different levels of the mentors to be able to understand, depending on, let's say, like in the stage where these, you know, like developers were learning are. Yeah.
Yeah, really good point. Because usually when you create content, actually you think that everyone is understanding the same terms, on that they are speaking the same language, and not. You realize that your content is for a level because beginners maybe don't understand what you're talking about because of terminology or the language you are using to explain that thing, you know? And I realized that with the podcast, because when I was writing articles, of course, you get the question from someone and you can answer in a comment or something. But when you are recording things that are more, let's say you record the podcast session and you push it, you don't have feedback on that. until they actually listen the episode, and maybe they didn't get anything because the terminologies we were using, or maybe some things in Spanglish, mixing terms in English, Spanish, no one understood it, in the very beginning. And we try to change that and explain terminology that maybe we think is obvious, and it's not that obvious. So yeah, I think I agree with you, and I hope I had a mentor with lower level when I started, because for me it was difficult to get up to speed because of that, the difference between our brains. He was like far away from me, and it was like, oh my god, he's a god. What he's doing here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's like almost frustrating, right? When you're like, we're so far apart, you can't explain in words that I understand what this does or why I should know it. So that's almost like, I mean, it's still nice that people are mentoring, but it's like there's no connect.
Yeah, I totally can relate with one of the experience I just now remembered. So I was like in a boot camp, and then when I don't have one-on-one calls, then I could ask in a chat. So there were like a couple of mentors stand by and responding you. So there was like a response I got, but I really didn't understand because of some of the terminologies, and probably like skipping like the details of the explanations why this approach would solve the errors that I have been getting. So I asked further information, but I got the response that, I mean, like, it is like this, so you need to understand. So I'm like, I mean, that's what I want to ask. So can you explain the terminology for me, please? So
Well, that was friendly.
It was not, but at the same time, like when I got my, I would say like responsible mentor at the time, because this person was not the one responding. So the one standby and responding in the chat is some other mentors who had the open slots at the time. So the one responsible, at the time for me to teach, this person, this mentor told me like, I get this mentor's point, but probably the way he explained was like, maybe not try to understand, the beginner's perspective. So that's why the response for you sounded like really cold and unfriendly. But I guess this mentor means to say this, and that. So, compared to the response I got from two different mentors, I really had the very different, like up and down, feeling. So the first response, I really was like frustrated or even mad at this person. But the second response I got, I was able to understand and I was able to solve the issue. So depending on the different experience and the type of the mentors, that you get the different kind of feeling and also the understanding. Yeah. It was a bit extreme, but yeah.
No, but it's nice that you touched that, because especially IT was before, like 5 years ago, when I started, really rough. Like if you wanted to learn something new and you expose yourself to ask, then there was a little harsh to get responses. And nowadays I feel like everyone realized that there is no reason to be like that. More like you can help others to learn, and if they don't understand, and you can guide them to a resource or helping them, and it's getting better. But it totally is something that when you're in mentorship programs, they teach you directly, like how to respond for a person that is really beginner and doesn't have the context. Like explain me like I'm 5 to somebody that is really expert. There are challenges in both. I remember mentoring person that was way more intelligent than me, but like bazillion times, and he was really brilliant, and he was like mocking me about my knowledge. So you can have both way. At the end, I will wrap right now because I'm really passionate about mentorship. But it's like find mentors that you feel comfortable with, or if you're a mentor, try to be that person that you always wanted to have. and then guide them through all the steps, like from beginner. And that's it.
Can we somehow sum this up with, you don't have to be scared asking questions to your mentor?
Yes.
Because your mentor is there for you and totally happy to help you. You just need to ask him. Even if you're feeling, I don't know, if you're asking the same question twice, he's your mentor, he's there for you. Just go ahead. Don't be scared about that. Maybe that's something we should learn and didn't have back in school, maybe.
As I got to say, and like, there are no stupid questions, only
exactly
answers.
Exactly.
And knowledge, it doesn't take any place as well. Knowing no more.
So then, yeah, I think we have been here for an hour or so.
Alba is doing like organizational stuff.
Yeah, trying to help Josefine. That is always the bad girl closing the stream. So today I'm the bad girl.
Now I feel bad because I've never done, I guess.
Next time is your turn.
Oh no.
No, pardon. No, but actually it was a really nice conversation. I think we end up talking about a lot of stuff we didn't plan to talk about. And I think it was really insightful, at least for me. Because the part of the mentorship, for example, is something I never done myself. I had always mentored, but I never mentored someone else. And I think I want to start trying it and maybe try to fill that gap between beginners and me.
You're gonna totally rock it. I know it from now. Like,
I hope so. And well, I think, for the ambassador program, as we have, of course, cohorts, and you can join the ambassador program when you want to, you can just go to the page that will be shared in the chat, I guess. And you can go there and apply. But this banner or badge, you can scan the QR. Okay, that's really cool.
That's cool.
I didn't expect this.
Yeah, me neither. It's first time to see. That's cool.
Yeah, you can see there are some pieces of our ambassadors. I don't know what is my hand, I guess here. Thanks to you, Agatha. It was really nice having people in the chat asking questions. That was really cool.
Also, not to forget about the next streaming, because we want to do, like the monthly coffee chat. So in the next month, we're going to have another guest and about actually an open source. And it's going to be like on 27th April, if there's not going to be like any change from our side. And the time would be the same like today. So 4 to 5:30 p.m. in Central European time zone. So you can, check it out. I hope, sorry, my bad. Probably the meetup page is not yet ready, but we will definitely tweet about that. So keep your eyes on to our social medias, and you can, sign up for the next GirlCode Coffee Chat as well. And we will be looking forward to see you, everyone, in there. I wanted to say a huge thank you to Marcus and Alvaro for joining us. I really enjoyed and I learned a lot, and I hope you did too.
Thank you for inviting, and I have a great time.
You.
Thanks to you guys.
Thank you. It was a nice chat.
Awesome. Then we will say goodbye for now.
Bye,
Until
bye.
next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.